This is a place where you can make mistakes. You can be free of maybe pairing with other designers if you want to work in a project. We have a Discord channel that is Leticia is going to put the link on the
Sounded
chat.
okay, knowledgeable, right?
No.
How did I answer the communicating in different languages?
Okay, I'm going to mute some people because it's a little crazy. Yeah, so we are a community of designers, and we do things like practical things. We do like whiteboarding exercises. If you are planning to get a job, probably you will have to go through a whiteboarding session. So if you want to practice, stay tuned and just check our Meetup page that Leticia will put there too. Sometimes we do portfolio reviews. So if you are working on a portfolio, please come and show it to our reviewer, and you will get nice insights of how to make it better. We have speakers like today, like Alie today will talk about networking. We sometimes talk about some design subjects, and the idea is for you to learn new things, okay? So next, we meet every Wednesday at the same time. It's 7:30 Pacific time. We meet next Wednesday, and normally we record all the presentations we have, but now we will start to select some of the meetings, and we won't upload all the meetings anymore on our YouTube channel. So if you are really interested in something, please come to the meeting and be present, because for us it's very important to have you here too. Next Wednesday is a very super special session. It's going to be super interesting because these two guys are coming to talk about branding. They work in a company called Charitable Impact, and Jorge is the lead designer for the branding. Is working along with Mateo Sampaolo, and they did a huge work in redesigning the brand for their companies, and they will explain to us how the process they went through, all the changes and all the discussions, all the problems they had. So if you are wondering what a UX UI designer normally do in a normal day of work, please come, because this is going to be very valuable. They have like tons of years of experience in this, so you will be welcome to ask some questions to them. It's super interesting. And today we have one of these sessions we have about career growth, and it's something we had some sessions before about networking. We can't stress more, like networking is the key to find a job. According to our last speakers we have about networking, and that's true. Like more than the 80% of the jobs are not there in Indeed or in any job searching. So networking is the way to get a job. I got my job through networking. I'm very proud of that. And I think networking gives you the opportunity of being different, like not being a number in like 100 resumes you will send the recruiter receive for one job. It will give you the opportunity to really show about yourself and connect with people and maybe land in a job. So the tips you are going to hear today are very interesting, and it's coming from a very successful person. So Alie is a super genius about networking. She does so many things. She's super well known. She was working in Kudos for a while as a UX designer. She's working now as a contract with Aviso Wealth. And all these things she got it because she's very like energetic and connecting with people and all that. So I think for me it's the best person to talk about networking. So please, Alie, now the screen is yours. You can share your screen and introduce yourself. All the audience is for you now.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm current UX fellow with the Kudos. It's a local startup. We work with people with learning and cognitive disabilities. I did decide not to extend my contract going forward, so my last day will be April 30th. Also, hint, if anybody is looking for a UX fellowship, hit me up if you like, helping people, because they're looking for replacement right now, of course. So let me know. Maybe Liz, I can share my LinkedIn or anything that would be useful. Currently, also have a contract part-time with a Visa Wealth. It's a financial company, and I do some taxonomy and information architecture work on the side as well. So just basically juggling a bunch of freelance work. And I will share my screen. Let me know if you guys can see it, if it's all good and nice. So today I'm going to be talking about networking tips. So I actually want to make it very interactive. And if anybody wants to, I would like a volunteer. So basically, of course, I'm going to be sharing my personal stories, how some kind of specific messages on LinkedIn, like cold messages or emails or informational interviews help me. But I also feel like if I have a volunteer, so we can kind of go through your goals in terms of finding a job, that would be nice. So ideally, you are a UX designer or UX researcher, and you are a junior designer, and then you're looking for a job. So it doesn't have to happen. It's just a wild idea. If anybody wants to be my volunteer for tonight, let me know. And also, I cannot see everyone, so I can only see 6 people right now, including myself. So please let me know if anyone
Okay, people, I'm looking for a raised hand here. Who is the brave person who
is brave
here? Oscar. Yeah. Okay, Oscar, you can unmute yourself. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Oscar.
Yes. Any other requirements? Are you looking for a job right now? Are you a UX designer? Like, just like quick kind of overview.
So right now I'm finishing a boot camp. It's through Springboard, and I am looking for work right now through. I'm looking for jobs either remote or in Miami, Florida, because that's where I want to move. Yeah. I'm still working on my portfolio too. So.
Okay. Are you in Vancouver?
No, I'm not. Right now I'm in Colorado.
Okay. That's fine. It's actually kind of cool that you are in the US, because I remember I was like, oh, maybe like if you're in Canada, you need to apply for US visa and all that stuff. Okay, enough. Yeah, just keep yourself unmuted if that's okay. I might kind of like ask you some questions so we can make it more interactive. So, so basically the basics, and this you can find it anywhere. If you go to Google, if you talk to any person, this is just how you should do it, and this would actually help me. I just Googled that. I'll be honest with you. I just Googled that, and that's what I followed. So basically, you need to identify what kind of companies or industries you want to work for. So Oscar, do you have an idea? Would it be, for example, fintech or edtech, or like for me, was social good?
So I don't have a lot of specific companies yet. I just know I want to work at an agency where I can work on a variety of projects, just because I don't know where my interests lie. So I'm more interested in a generalist position.
Okay, that helps. Thank you.
Yeah.
So your next step would be, it's awesome, you know what you're looking for. That's amazing. So you need to find people who work for those companies. So you did mention you want to be a generalist. In this case, for example, you can you go on LinkedIn and you say UX designer, and then the name of the company, because you've done the first step, right? So you can say agencies in the US, or because you want to move to Miami. So you can say design agencies in Miami. You have a list, let's say 10, 15. And the next step, you go on LinkedIn and you say UX designer or UX researcher, UX specialist. So basically you type the person's role and the company name. And I would honestly, so for example, Meetup is a design agency in Vancouver. And I was conducting a bunch of informational interviews in order to identify if I want to be UX researcher, if this is a good role for me, just to fully transition to the research. I would message 10 people from the same company. Because I don't know who's going to respond. Maybe one person, maybe 0. And it's also an interesting indicator, because from a few companies, there would be quite a few people who would respond to me. So for example, MetaLab, there was, I don't know, maybe 6, 7 people out of 10 who responded back. And they all wanted to help, and they all wanted to, spend time with me. We would talk sometimes, like I would schedule half an hour, but they would talk for an hour. So for you, it's also a good way to gauge kind of like, okay, well, I messaged 10 people, 6 got back to me. It's a very helpful environment. People are really kind there. So basically, yeah, as I said, you cold message people on LinkedIn. You can also use your network. So let's say, do you have a company in mind that we can use instead of using my example?
Let's do Chegg.
Chegg.
I know Chegg is in Miami.
Awesome. Yeah. So you can basically ask around. You can message your friends, coworkers, whoever you know, and say, hey guys, I really like to work for Chegg, or find out how to work for them. Do you know anyone? Do you know someone who might know someone? That also helps. And again, normally people love helping others. So usually, and it's not big of an ask. You just kind of like, hey, do you know someone? You'll be the one doing all the job anyways, connecting with them and reaching out. It's also an interesting way. You can just volunteer. If you volunteer, you meet people, you build connections, and you go from there. I can also talk more later. And there are some networking apps that are kind of built for networking specifically, and I'll share them later as well. So yeah, so for example, you are in the US. This is more of a like British Columbia, Canada examples, but I guess some of you guys are here in BC. By the way, and this is not sponsored, this is just me being this wild person. There's this search engine that whenever, I think for every 42 searches, it plants a tree. And I was like, yes, I want to contribute. So if you search for something and you want to contribute to the environment, please do that. Why not? It's free for everyone. So yeah, so for BC people, you guys probably heard of Angelist. It's a startup website with startups. There's a TechCover newsletter. There used to be a Meetup. I would go there. I think it was like once a month, pre-COVID. It was amazing. So hopefully when things go back to normal, we can go, and there's so many people. You just go and talk to people, eat pizza and drink beer. Oh my God, I miss that. There's also Crunchbase, BC Tech, and BC Tech Base. But Google or this website, your best friend. You just like type it in. For me, I would always look for social companies that do social good, or in a social tech for social good space. For you, Oscar, would be design agencies in Miami, for example. And everyone always mentioned that in every, I think every kind of presentation, that it has to be a values match, and basically you sell yourself. And I'll give you a specific example. So with Kudos, again, they work with people with cognitive disabilities. So basically, if you are not empathetic and kind, and if you don't really care about people that much, you wouldn't just start working for this kind of company. And the culture lead used to do some volunteering work in the downtown East Side. And I used to volunteer in downtown East Side. So that was one of the first things I brought up when I was talking to her, because I was like, oh, I was reading about you and I saw that you used to la la la. And it was an immediate connection, because again, downtown East Side, and Oscar, just to explain for you, it's basically a street in Vancouver. It's full of homeless people and drug addicts, and it's a bit of a sad situation in Vancouver. So you wouldn't work and you wouldn't volunteer with homeless people and drug addicts unless you really, really care about people. So it was just an immediate match. Yeah, here's one of the examples. And again, I can share this presentation with Liz and Letitia, or anyone who wants access for this. I only changed the first name of the person, of course, and the company name, but those are actual messages I would just cold message people on LinkedIn. So for example, messaging to a company that aligns with your values. So I was researching startups that would align with my values, and then message someone who works in a particular company, and I was asking if there is any way to be involved. And actually, in terms of, I guess there would be a question if that's a successful message. I would say all of the messages I'm going to show you, they're mostly successful. And again, I think it's not about, it's partially about the message, how you craft it, but also, again, people really want to help. People love helping others. And especially, I feel like people really came together during the pandemic. At least that was my experience. And so just say what you want, and then say what you want to like get from it. In this case, I was like, how can I get involved? So for example, for this one, I'm a Vancouver-based UX designer. I'm passionate about using my digital skills for social good. So see, I'm being very specific in what I want. You, Oscar, for example, can say, I would love to work for an agency like yours because something that you can, for example, take from their website that aligns with your values. Or you can just say, I would love to see how this working for an agency because I would love to work on multiple projects, what you just told me. And that's amazing. That's, some people like to work in one project. Some people like to juggle. Yeah, and then this phrase here, I would love to chat with you about the work environment there and get to know UX journey. It's also, you kind of like speaking to a person on a more personal level because you're trying to, you're not asking for anything, you're not asking to give you a job or to do something for you. You want to know how they got where they are. So basically you can follow up the same steps and maybe they can also get where they are as well. So let's say you message someone and then they responded back and they say, okay, well, yes, I'm open for an informational interview about the design agency I work for. So let's schedule something. The first point is to yeah. Was that the question?
That wasn't me.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Did someone want to ask a question or?
No, I think it was accidentally, the mic was on. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. No
yes.
worries. Just wanted to make sure. Yeah, if anyone has a question, feel free to stop. I know sometimes it's a bit hard to like listen to someone talking. So yeah, let me know if we kind of can break it down with a question or something like that. Heavily research the person you're talking to. Might sound creepy, but just, again, you're doing it for yourself. You need to know if you can work with this person. So for this company, check, right? Again, check.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So
sorry,
you need to know. Yes.
Ali, I have a question. It would be nice, since we are on doing networking, it would be nice to know who's who and where are they from. And so you could network within this group.
Yeah, we can have maybe sometimes at the end for doing that because we will interrupt the presentation otherwise.
No, sure.
Okay,
it's just that we can do that in the beginning.
Yeah, and maybe you can put your LinkedIn in the chat if you want to, so people can connect with you.
Okay, that's a good idea.
That's fine? Yeah, okay. Okay, Ali, you can continue.
Okay, now I have to remember where I was. Oh, Oscar, what I was saying.
You're talking about, heavily research the person at Chegg that I'm interviewing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, now I'm distracted.
I'm sorry about that.
You're talking to, because you're doing it for yourself, because you need to know if you can work with this person. Especially like, I like how, Oscar, you have this specific example of an agency. You need to see who they are, what are their values, if they're kind, helpful, and whatever is important to you. So basically, yeah, you can just research and see if they've done any other interviews and see what they were saying, how maybe also you have some questions to ask, but then they've been asked this kind of questions so many times. You know, there's this rule, because I used to do journalism. So there's this very hard rule. Before you interview a celebrity, you need to research and basically read every single interview they've done, because if you're gonna ask same questions they've been asked all the time, they're gonna get mad because it's just like, oh, how was it, playing this crazy person for you? I've been asked this 5 times. Or for example, if there's some kind of questions they never want to answer, of course you don't want to ask them as well. So this is kind of the same. So imagine you interviewing a celebrity, make it kind of like a fun, interesting adventure for yourself. Of course, prep good questions, just prep good questions, take notes. And the last one is so important, and that's exactly how I got my kind of foot in the door with Kudos. I was doing an informational interview with someone. It was actually via email because she didn't have time to do a Zoom call, which is fine. And the last question I asked, who else should I be talking to? And you should always ask it, because they can link you to another person or a company or anything. And she said, what are you looking for? And I said, tech for social good. Again, just my jam. I'm just, I know what I want. And she said, well, you should talk to Kudos. And then I actually had no idea Kudos were looking for UX fellow at that moment. It was last year. And then I connected with the research lead just to do an informational interview. And then when I was doing the research about the company and the values, I saw that they're hiring. And then basically my informational interview turned into a conversation. And then I said, hey guys, I actually saw you hiring, so I'm interested. And then, 7 months later, I'm still with them. Well, now leaving, but so that question is very, very important. So then what happens after you connected with someone? So let's say you talked to them for an hour, they gave you all the advice they could, they showed you some books, told you, hey, talk to another agency, talk to ABC agency now. So should you just abandon that connection? No. First of all, keep them updated on what you're doing. And for me personally, it was the most weird one, because I was also thinking, why would this stranger be interested in what I'm doing? But then again, because people like helping other people, people actually love hearing what you're up to. So I would say, hey, John, hey, John, how's it going? I got this amazing contract, thanks again for that conversation, something. And then they keep you updated, and then, yeah. And, once you start doing it, you just kind of jam, and you just I would sometimes just allocate some time and just go through all my connections, people I, connected with in the past, let's say 3 weeks, and just send them updates. Just hello, this is an update. It's not about, you being selfish. It's actually because they always want to know what you're doing. And trust me, they genuinely do want to know what you're up to. So you just, you're doing them a favor, basically. And of course, if so for example, you are in the beginning of your career, so you might think, I don't know what I can offer. They just spend an hour talking to me, showing me all these cool books, sending me all these links. What can I give this person? If you ask them good questions, you kind of get to know who they are. So you can just send them articles. You can just say, and it's so easy, just say, hey, I saw this article and I thought about you. Or, hey, I remember you were interested in, virtual reality, and here's the event. And people really, really love it. And, on multiple occasions, when I would send an event to someone, people would ask me, are you going? If you're going, I'm going. I was like, oh, that's interesting, and it just, again, you just build that nice connection. And even if they don't go, it's fine. It's nice they know that you think about them. So yeah, the third one, kind of don't be afraid to come off as annoying or needy, or just forget about everything. Just message them. It's fine. We're all human beings. Be like a sponge. They could become your mentor. You never know. Some people, they kind of get into the role of helping you, and they kind of so for example, I connected with the UX researcher once, and then she connected me with someone else, and then she sent me a list of books, and then she invited me to a UX research Slack channel, and I was like, wow, this one person did so much for me. And I was just like, okay, thank you. I was like, what can I do for you? But anyways, she didn't become a mentor, but you never know. And especially if you kind of get a hint that the person is very, very kind and helpful, you can always ask. And you never know, they might say yes, and they might say, hey, yeah, I can meet you once a month, half an hour virtual coffee chat. Let's talk, bring all your questions. And the last one, people like helping others because it makes them feel good. It's just the nature, just the psychology of like the human beings, because you help someone, you feel good. This is an example. I called it semi-cold messaging on LinkedIn, because then you reaching out to someone because somebody told you about them. Excuse me. So for example, and again, this is a real message I sent someone. So I said, I'm interested in social good, and connection of mine, Jasmine J, for example, suggested reaching out to this company. And this particular message, it was a bit of an odd one, because I don't think that company was hiring at the moment. And again, ABC doesn't exist. This is just random name. So I was like, okay, I can even volunteer. I'm looking for experience. I can just volunteer for you. So that's also a path to explore as well. And then this is the one that actually gets you a foot in the door in terms of getting the first call. It works. So basically, if you just apply, let's say you found a job on LinkedIn or Indeed, or any job search engine you're using, and then you just apply it. And then basically you just piece of paper, and those like they have 300, 600, they have a lot, especially right now. So what you need to do, you reach out to either HR or whoever is in charge of the posting on LinkedIn, and you just let them know that you have applied and you want to chat. Because again, you're also doing it for yourself. You can kind of see the way they're going to respond, if they're going to respond at all. I would say people respond all the time. I can't recall people not responding, to be honest with you. Maybe it happened. I would also reach out to a bunch of UX designers. So let's say I've applied for Chegg, the company you were talking about. And then I would just reach out to UX designers there and say, hey, do you like working there? How's the team? How's the culture? What kind of projects you're working on? And I would just schedule a chat, and then people always want to chat. You just need 10, 15 minutes on Zoom. And then you can also see, you can see how they respond, what they say about the company, and see if you want to work for them. This is one of the unique ways to network, so you can volunteer. So the first one, catchafire.org, it's a website that connects people with different skills with charities and nonprofits. I personally did a project for the website, through the website, last year. And the project was for a bunch of community centers based in New York. And it was amazing. The only downside, you don't get paid, but then you gain experience. It's a real client. It's a real project. The app that me and a mobile developer came up with, it was actually a quick solution of a phone app. It was released on Apple Store and Google Store. So again, if you're looking for, projects under your belt in your portfolio, that's also a good way to do that. And then you meet people. You meet people on the team. You meet clients. You learn how to communicate. So that's also a really, really good way. You can also use Volunteer Match. There's a nice tool, open source design, that's for different design jobs. And then you can always participate in hackathons. I participated in multiple hackathons. I think it was 3 design ones or 4. And I would always meet amazing people, developers, designers, CEOs, people you work for. So there's, you just kind of network, but then it's so natural and so organic. It just happens by itself without you even thinking about it. There are also networking apps and websites. I feel like Lunch Club kind of got some traction, and you get 3 matches a week. I don't know, Oscar, have you heard of Lunch Club?
Yeah, I just haven't used it a lot yet because I don't have a lot of projects to share.
I mean, you can still just talk to people and, again, do informational interviews and just connect with some designers or even developers. I like that you can get 3 matches a week. So you can skip the week. You can just say yes to 1 or 2 or 3. For those who doesn't know, it's artificial intelligence powered platform. So it basically connects you with people. So you sign up and it's free, and it just connects you with people. So I connected with the UX designer in Portland, UX designer in Chicago, in Victoria. You can try to like specify your location, but like there are coins you collect within the app, so it gets a bit more complicated. And then you can like check your interests and industries, and it just connects you with people who basically, again, match your values and match your interests. It's a really cool tool. Could definitely vouch for it. The other one, Smart Tribe. I feel like not so many people know about it. So it's basically, it's a bit less. You get 1 match bi-weekly, completely free. It's basically people who are in some kind of academia environments. So for example, I connected with a lady, she's an ethnographer who is interested in UX research. And I was interested to get to learn more about ethnography. So we connected, and she is PhD candidate. Or someone who has master's in science. Let's say you want to design for scientific companies, so you can connect with them and talk to them. It's free again, so just feel free to check it out. Can definitely say that because it's not that popular, I feel like people don't really respond much. So I think I joined in January and I matched with whatever 8 people so far, and then only 1 person got back to, no, 2 people got back to me. So it's kind of like hit or miss. And then Shopper, it's a mobile app. I have used it a long time ago, but I do know that someone from a design community, he's a developer, he used it recently and then he really, really enjoyed it. I think it's also, you choose like 7 or 8 areas of interest, and then it matches you with different people with those interests. I know before, I had it pre-COVID, you can just invite people for coffee. So you can just say, oh, hey, I saw you working as a UX designer for Microsoft. Let's go for coffee. Was super, super easy. And a bit of an extra. So Clubhouse, this is also something new. I'm pretty sure lots of you guys heard of it. It's an app, and then you can just go there and people create rooms. So it could be, let's say, again, I'll use the virtual reality example because I've seen it, like a virtual reality in Vancouver room, like join us. We're gonna have a chat 1 p.m. tomorrow. So it's very, very specific. It's free, but it's by invite only. So you need to know someone who already uses the app. Meetup. We all know the Meetup. That's how we sign up for IterateUX events. There's so much, again, much less now, but one example would be startup drinks. Used to be in person, you show up, there's tons of people just drinking whatever you want to drink, and then just walk around, meet people. They still do it. I haven't joined any virtual events, but you never know. You can meet people who have who own startups. Eventbrite, find different events, multiple Slack groups, and you know it's free, you just need an invite. The last one is a bit of a specific one. It's only for women. That's a program I did last year, YWCA Tech Connect. They don't place you, they don't give you a job, just want to be very, upfront about it, but they help you so much. They review your resume. It's basically a 3-week program, and they help you with the resume. They connect you. They have a list of friendly employers. So for example, let's say I want to work for Microsoft and they are a friendly employer. So Tech Connect knows people from Microsoft, and I want to apply. So I apply and I tell facilitators from Tech Connect, I say, hey, can you flag my application to the HR? And they do. So basically they told them, hey, Alie has applied. You got to check your resume. But that's all happens. So at least you kind of stand out from all these hundreds and hundreds piles of resumes. again, just for women only. Sorry, guys. And actually, that's it. So before we go to QA time, just want to ask Oscar if you have any questions for me, if you think I can also maybe give you a few more tips before we just kind of dive into other questions.
I don't have a lot of questions. I don't have any questions right now, but I might be able to think of some in a little bit.
Okay, well, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being my volunteer. That was super cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Ali. That was very good. A lot of good little tips. I didn't know about all those sites you mentioned and all these apps. It's very interesting. You know what I'm wondering? It's very surprising for me when you said you send these cold messages, and you receive like from 7 out of 10 replies back from one company, and that's amazing. I never done it, to be honest. I'm a very shy person, and I feel like strange sending messages to people I don't know. But I heard people that they sent I don't know 20 messages and they receive no answers. So I'm wondering how for you is so. I don't know how you do it, how you receive those answers. It's only just a message, or you do some extra work, or is maybe the people that they see your connections and because you are very well connected, maybe they reply to you. But why do you think is that?
I started networking last year when the pandemic hit and I was trying to switch into UX design. I think I had maybe 310 connections. And now I have, because I checked today before coming here, I have 745. So more than a double, right? I think it's partially the message itself. And again, I'll share this presentation. You can just copy paste. Feel free. Again, I Google those. I Google them and I kind of changed them up a bit. So it's not like I just saw something, I just copied it. I still was, for example, remember there was a message when I was reaching out to a startup and I said, I was researching startups that do social good. So that's it. Like it's an immediate connection. I wasn't researching for, I don't know, startups in the food industry. I need social good. I knew what I wanted. In terms of people, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like for me, like my impression was just people like just helping. And maybe again, maybe it's the pandemic because we're all in tough situations and people know how tough has it been for everyone. Maybe that helped. But I didn't do anything beyond just sending those messages. And I also want to clarify, so I used the MetaLab example when I reached out, let's say to 10 people and like 7 got back to me. There were only 2 companies. Unfortunately, I don't remember the second one, but I remember in my mind after networking for so long, I was like, oh, wow, only 2 companies. There were like so many people who actually got back to me. And it's funny because I kept in touch with those people. And it was just amazing. But I would, let's say, I don't know, 1 company and I would message 4 people and 1 would get back to me, something like that. So I would still be at odds. So you never know. Sometimes you get no response. Yeah, for sure. But most of the times, especially when you applied, I've noticed that too. So when you applied for a job and then you message a UX designer and you just say, hey, I applied. I just really want to know how it is working for the company. Like, how's the culture? How's the team like? What projects you're working on? You're not asking for a job. You're not asking for anything. You're not even asking for a referral. You just really want to find out. And then your personality will do the rest. So once you're actually on Zoom with them, once you have the chat, they get to know you, even if it's 10, 15 minutes. And then you can go from there. Then you can take it to next level. There were situations when I knew I had to ask for a referral and that person was just a stranger, but I knew if I don't ask for it, I'm not gonna get it. Like if I don't ask, I'm not gonna get it anyways. If they say no, they say no. And surprisingly, people say yes. Sometimes I've heard some no's, not often, but I've heard some no's for sure. And the main reason why I would hear no's, it's the person would say, I don't recommend someone I haven't worked with. I haven't worked with you, so I don't know how you are. And again, I'm a stranger, they're a stranger, right? So there's no one who can vouch for me. But usually, like, I remember, it was so long ago. It was some kind of company I really wanted to, it was like on my radar. And then I asked the person to recommend me. I was like, and you have to be super cool about it. You're like, hey, if you don't want to do it, it's fine, but I have to ask, basically. And then she was like, yeah, for sure. And I was like, okay, like, yeah, for sure. Like, you met me once, but okay, yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe the the thing is you have to be more bold. Maybe I don't have that maybe personality. So yeah, good to know. So you should go for it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, be nice, be kind, be polite, and that will bring you, far, far. Just be a decent human being. And yeah.
Yeah, and be receptive and be open to others as well. Always, yeah. I agree with that.
Any other question from the audience? If you don't want to talk, you can put it in the chat too.
I'm curious about if someone has any situation that you wanted to share about networking that is interesting for you guys. You have in the top of your mind right now. I think all of us has some cool, right?
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I've been doing like information interviews with some people. I've been doing networking, but sometimes I'm not sure how much do I have to talk about myself and how much I have to let them speak. Like, sometimes,
For sure.
Yes. Listen.
What I've noticed whenever I would do informational interviews, I would never think about myself. Again, I don't know if it's right or wrong. It was just, my mentality was, I'm here. It's like, remember this celebrity kind of interview metaphor? It's the same. Celebrity is not going to ask you to like, oh, tell me about your journalism experience. They don't care. So it's same. It's like, okay, this is the celebrity. I'm gonna come up with all these amazing questions. I'm gonna come, prepped. But the fun fact that whenever I would show up with this attitude, the first question, on multiple occasions, the first question this person would say, they would say, tell me about yourself so I can help you better. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, I didn't expect you asking about me, but okay, cool. And then once I've learned that most people actually ask this question, and you pretty much say the same thing, like, tell me about yourself so I can help you better. So you just need to have this like kind of like little pitch. Don't say too much, just say a little pitch. Like I would say, I'm based in Vancouver, I'm a junior designer, I'm all about tech for social good, something. And then sometimes I would even insert all my hobbies are just like, I'm more like human, not just like a robot. Like that's it. That's work is all I do. And then you also connect on a personal level too, right? Yeah, but so it's less about you, more about them. But then they definitely would want to get to know you. And if they don't, then it's also not good, right? Then it's like,
Yeah.
they just like bragging about themselves. I mean,
Oh, I see.
yeah.
Thank you.
Hope that helps for sure.
And I will add to that, it's difficult to think of that elevator pitch they say you have to have for that question, like, tell me about yourself. And some people, I've heard from some people, because some people ask to, they connect with me because I work in VR, and I want to know about VR and all that. And when I ask them, tell me about yourself, they give me a question like a very like a script question, like a very mechanical kind of robot kind of thing, and you can tell like it's a little not fake, but it's a little like strange. So please, if you are working in your elevator pitch, just try to make it natural and kind of relax. You are talking with people, not with machines. So I think that's a good thing to think about.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I would sometimes mention my hobbies, and I would say, oh, besides UX design, I also do this and this and that. And that also kind of relieves the pressure, because otherwise you're just talking to this stranger and it's almost like this like kind of game. Oh, what do they want from me? Or what can I offer? Or what should I? And then when she just like, I don't know, I do comedy, because I do comedy. And they're like, oh, really? How did you get into comedy? And you spend 5 minutes just like chatting about something, and they're like best friends. I literally, by the way, guys, I would make friends when I would network. Juliet, Juliet. We met on LinkedIn, if you guys don't know. So Juliet, guys, it's my really, really good friend. She's UX designer. For those who doesn't know, she reached out to me because I posted, I made a post on LinkedIn. I was looking for some UX help on a project. By the time she reached out, I didn't need any help. But then I saw that she's in Vancouver. And maybe Liz the same. I was just bold. I was like, oh, you're also in Vancouver? Let's go for coffee. Because I was like, who cares? You know? And then she said yes. And then we started a podcast together. And now we're just meeting up as friends. And Diana, are you still here? Because I messaged Diana on.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, on Slack, remember? And then because I think I saw your introduction because you were saying something, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I feel like she looks like a nice person. Let me just message her. It was just so random. And I messaged her. And then, how was it? Do you want to share, from your perspective? This is super real.
Yeah, it was very surprising for me that someone reached out to me, because it was like me who was reaching out to people. At least it was supposed to be like that. I was looking for a job at that time, and I joined UX rescue community, I think. And I just made an introduction, just shared my portfolio and said that I'm in Vancouver. And maybe like 10-15 minutes after that, Ali reached out to me. And it was back in November, but we live near each other. So we meet like once in 2 weeks or something like that to talk about our struggles and our successes. And I can say that Ali is a really good friend to me. And I'm really happy that she reached out to me then. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, you're a great friend too. Yeah, we've gone to like horse riding together,
Yeah.
And if you think about it, it's like there was just a UX Slack community, and I just reached out to her. Yeah, so maybe Elise, I like how you summarized, like, just be bold,
Yeah. And be very friendly. You are extremely friendly. I remember when I met you, my first impression about you, it was like super like a sparkling person, and you came with all your notes and with your notebook, and let's do this and let's do that. So I think if in the future I need someone, one of the first person I will think is about you, because my first impression about you was like prepared. You came with everything, and I was just going for a coffee, and you were like super precise and everything. So I think that those first impressions are very important too.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Good, Ali. Any other question? If not, we can wrap up this and maybe go for an early dinner. Yes, no more questions.
Well, I have just one more quick question.
Hey, he's back.
Sorry to interrupt your early dinner.
Fine.
So for volunteering, like, do you think nonprofits have any use for people with no experience like me?
Yeah, so for example, that Catch a Fire website, right? They still interview you. So, okay, may I ask, like, do you have absolutely zero experience, or you still know something? Because you're going to a boot camp, so you must know
something. Yeah, I know something. I just don't have a portfolio built, if that makes sense. So I've made interfaces look better, and I've submitted projects. They're just not in a online portfolio yet.
Okay. How long will it take you to make a portfolio?
I would say by the end of May, I'll have my first, they call it capstone project. So it'll be like a full-blown case study, all kinds of deliverables. So yeah, the end of May, I'll for sure have one project down.
Okay. So maybe can you take screenshots of what you've done? So basically, can you compile at least something so people can see what you've done?
Yeah.
Yeah, so something quick. Also, it goes by the skill level. So the project I worked on, they were actually looking for a mobile developer, but they didn't really specify that. They were just saying, oh, we need like design an app and release an app. I can't code, so I knew I wouldn't be able to complete that part. I still reached out. They still interviewed me. I had to explain what UX design is because they thought I'm a developer. I'm like, no, I'm not. And I actually hired a developer for this project. Well, hired it. He was also a volunteer. So basically, my point is, everything worked out because they liked me. So they just need to like you enough, and then the rest, yeah. So your personality is number one, and also it goes by skills. So when you check a project, you can see what kind of skills they're looking for. But don't be afraid to reach out, because if you can get an interview, that's your way in. Or at the very least, you can say, let's say they say, oh no, we need someone with more experience. You can keep in touch. You have this connection going on. You can just keep in touch with them. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Great.
Good luck on your job.
Yeah.
Yes. Any other question?
Those are really good questions, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting session, Alice. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, for everyone, I hope you enjoyed, and see you next Wednesday, same time. For the, if you are interested in UI and motion design, please come next Wednesday at 7:30 Pacific time. Okay,
Thank you,
guys.
Ali.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank you
Ali.
for the time.
Awesome presentation.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, awesome. Bye
Bye,
bye.
everyone. See you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.